Welcome into another edition of the Bryan Hodgson Radio Show. Jim Lighthall along with the head coach himself. Coach, good to see you again.
Likewise.
Hey, first place in the American sounds pretty doggone good as the season's starting to wind down. I know we got ways to go here, but you're in the place you want to be right now.
Yeah. It's a lot better being first than it is in second or third or anywhere after that. So we'll take it. I think we're getting better every day, which is what I'm most excited about as a coach. Is not only are we in first place, but this group's hungry. We're not satisfied. We understand that no championship banners have been hung on the first day of March, and so this group's fired up.
You get the win on Wednesday night against Rice. I thought it was very poignant, the words that you told the kids on the floor in the pregame shoot-around, saying, let's control the controllables. You can't always have your best game every single night, but if you can control those, you're talented enough to win games.
Yeah, I think it's tough to win road games in college basketball. It just is. I throw the records out the window. It's just tough. And so going into Rice, a program that's, had their struggles, but was trying to fight their way into the conference tournament. I mean, last night was really win or go home for them in a lot of ways. And so, we may not shoot the ball well every night. We may there's no crowd, right? There's no external motivation. Like there's just a bunch of things that we can't control. And what we can control is our attitude, our effort, and then the things that travel with you. Your defense, your rebounding, your talk, all the non-negotiable things. And I feel like that we're talented enough and disciplined enough that if we do those things night in, night out, we'll have a chance in every game we're in.
I want to talk about some of those things that you did so well on Wednesday night, but I also want to look at things historically real quick. Again, games to go. You haven't hung a banner. 51 in the net, the best the school has ever had. You get your 20th win in the regular season, no less, which doesn't happen very often. Also, 8th road win, which matches the best ever for this school, and you get your 12th win in the conference. That's a good-looking resume as we progress into the month of March.
Yeah. I'm proud of our guys. I think we set some goals at the beginning of this year. One of them was to win the American Conference, and one was to win the conference tournament. And one of the other ones was to be playing our best basketball in February and March. And I think we're playing our best basketball, and the other two goals are obtainable, and that's what you want.
75-56, the win on Wednesday night. You forced 23 turnovers, which matched a season high, which Georgia College did here, Division II team. And then you also get 17 steals, which was your second best this season. The best was against a Division II team. Defensively, you turn those into points, 27-8 on points off turnovers. Those turnovers don't do anybody any good unless you capitalize on them.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on them, and we did that. And I'm really proud of our defense. We jumped into the borderline top 50 defenses in all of college basketball after the performance against Rice, and we just want to continue to trend in the positive direction there. Defense leads the offense, and so when you can get stops and turnovers that lead to transition, easy baskets for us, that's what we want.
You gave up 56 points, Coach. That's the second best this season. Again, gave up 50 to Georgia College, but the best against a Division I opponent. How about this? The last 5 games, only one team's gotten over 80 points against you. That was FAU, and it took overtime to get that. But 2 of those you held under 60. So many people talk about your offense and your pace and the number of shots. I don't think the credit has been given to you for the defensive side.
Yeah, and our guys again, it goes back to the players. They've been really dialed in on that end. They know that that's going to ultimately win us a championship. But also I want to give credit to my staff. I've got the best of staff in the country. Our defense, Coach Derek Ronstad is our defensive coordinator, if you will. Logan Ingram, Alex Harris on that side of the ball, Tobin Anderson. But really, that group together. But Derek takes a lot of pride in his role as our defensive coordinator, and he eats, breathes, and sleeps defense. And we get into arguments in recruiting because I think he'd take a kid that can't pass, dribble, or shoot, but's an elite on-ball defender. But I'm really proud to see the fruits of his labor for him because he's a great young coach that puts his heart and soul into this, and our guys can see that, and to see it translate to the floor is really special.
You're going to play in a lot of close games here down the stretch. Rice wasn't really one of them. You won by 19. They got it to 6 or 7 a couple times, and you pushed it right back. But we're talking about desperate teams that you're playing because of their postseason hopes, because there are teams trying to get in that top 2 in the American Conference and get the bye to the semifinals, which is why these games are going to get tighter as you go.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get Tulane's best shot. We're going to get Memphis' best shot. We're going to get Charlotte's best shot, right? Those 3 are comfortably in the conference tournament, it looks like. And so now they're in a logjam for seeding. And that's, I mean, you're talking playing 5 games in 5 days versus 3 or 4. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so we're going to get everybody's best shot. And what I tell our guys is we have to make it known out of the gate that their best shot's not good enough to beat South Florida. And we want to stand on that. With our attitude, our effort, our intensity, our attention to detail. And I truly believe when we have those things, their best shot's not good enough. And this group is determined to show that here down the stretch.
Wednesday night, you go 17 of 19 from the free throw line, another outstanding effort there. If the season ended today, this would be the greatest free throw shooting team in the history of South Florida basketball.
We did this, Jim. We did this. I mean, so it's unbelievable. These guys behind the microphones it's unbelievable. That, anyways, next question.
Now, listen, in my defense, Wednesday night, Zay Nelson's at the free throw line was 8 for 8. I said, listen, he's perfect 8 for 8. He goes up and knocks down 2.
Okay.
So leads me into my question. Yeah. He ends up going 10 for 10.
Yeah.
He came into this year a 64% career shooter. He's shooting 72% from the free throw line this year, which is a great luxury to have a big guy on the floor that can knock down free throws and go 10 for 10 last night.
Yeah.
And break the announcer's curse.
Yeah, that's right. He's a worker. He's a worker. It's not a secret. It's not by design. He pounds the stone every single day. 7 a.m. Isaiah's in here every day. I walk into my office. I hear the ball bouncing, and it's Isaiah shooting free throws. And so there's no surprise there. He's reaping the benefits of his work, and really proud to see that. And it's a great example for the young men in our program.
I don't think it's any coincidence. Over the last 6 games, you've averaged 10 turnovers per game, and you've won 6 consecutive games.
Yeah, you take care of the basketball, you win basketball games, right? We want to win the possession battle. That's a big part of our game goals each night out is win the possession battle with limiting turnovers, forcing turnovers, and second chance points, right? And so, all those factor in, and getting more shots on goal than our opponents, and you're going to have a better chance to win. And so we've done that at a high level lately and need to continue here down the stretch.
Early in the season, I didn't bring this up to you very much, if at all, but you were fouling more than anyone in the country at one point early in the year. That has gone down and down and down to under 20 fouls per game. Over the last few games, I mean, you had 16 last night, but over the last few games, you're not fouling and you're winning. That's another key ingredient.
Yeah, 16 last night, and Gavin Hightower fouled 5 times in 15. I mean, I think he was like determined to foul out. I'm not sure, but I think our guys have been more disciplined. We've gotten better in our closeouts. We've gotten better in our off-ball help. Our guys have just became more disciplined. They're growing. They're growing every game, and that's what you want to see as a head coach, and really proud of that.
I saw Gavin on the way in here today, and I said, man, you fouled out last night? And he's like, yeah, this is a thing for me. Back in high school, I said, did you foul out a lot in high school? He said, all the time. I'm a risk guy. I'm a reacher. Coach gets after me all the time.
Yeah, what's the definition of insanity?
Yeah,
right?
Doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, and we talk to him about it all the time. But he's a freshman. He'll get past that. He gave us some great minutes against Rice, and he'll be very valuable to us here as we close this thing out.
It was a cool trip to Houston. Took some boosters with you as well, and those folks get an opportunity. Jeff Bromley with the Bulls Club was kind of overseeing everything, but I talked to him at the half during the game, but it's an opportunity for those people to see behind the curtain, which not many people get to see.
Yeah, it's always great when we can have the people that support us travel with us, get an inside look at the program. This program doesn't operate without the support of those people, and we've got a great donor base here, great fan base, great donor base, and to have some be able to travel with us and sit in on film sessions and sit in on team meals and see how cohesive this unit is, and how much fun they have together, and the work that's put in. It gives a new perspective, and it feels like every time we do it, they come back and they're just extremely appreciative, even more appreciative of the work that our guys put in to have this success. So I'm very thankful for all the support that we have here, and especially to our donor base who really they make this run.
People know and love basketball, but they don't know it until they see how the sausage is made.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is, there's a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of individual film, and we probably watch more film than anybody in the country. But it's a very unique experience for them.
You mentioned Gavin Hightower earlier. He came in, gave you some great minutes. Adriel Nyorha, who's going to be our guest later on in the show. There's a guy that's really getting better as the season goes on. Both of those guys, actually.
Yeah, we have two special freshman point guards. They both gave us great minutes against Rice, and both growing. And I reminded them both after the game, just don't forget that you're a freshman on a really good team, right? You could go and be on a bad team right now and be playing 25 minutes a game and scoring 10 points a game and thinking life's good, but you're on a really good team and you're getting better every day. And I challenge them to talk to our upperclassmen about what their freshman year was like. Not only that, but I challenge the upperclassmen, to remind them, hey, my freshman year is even different than yours because there's guys right now that are playing their 5th and 6th year of college basketball. We didn't have to deal with that. And so we've got a super mature group, and our entire freshman class, they get better every day.
Quick comment on strength and conditioning coach Cody Dukewitz, who's also a guest coming up here on the show. Coach, I know you have an amazing staff, but usually the strength guy is the one that holds everybody together.
Cody's phenomenal. Best in the business, best I've been around. Really excited that he's with us.
And you did not know him when you came
here? I did not. Cody was here, had a great relationship with Coach Amir. Coach Amir hired him, and that spoke volumes to me. And so then I was able to sit down and spend some time with Cody. And then people that I respect highly in this business called me and spoke on Cody's behalf. And we didn't even look at anybody else. He has the respect of our guys because he has their best interests at heart, and he takes pride in being phenomenal at what he does, and our guys can see that. All of our guys have made improvement in their weights and in the weight room both, and Cody is. You said it, he's a glue guy, and he's about the right stuff. He's about the University of South Florida and winning basketball games, and we couldn't ask for anything more.
Looking forward to talking to him coming up a little bit later on. Got to get a comment on Tulane Sunday, 12 noon. This is going to be a lot of fun. They just had their win streak snap, but they're playing for their lives right now too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Hunter's, I think he's first or second in American in all-time wins, and he's won 500 plus Division I basketball games, and had the preseason player of the year, Rowan Brumbaugh, on the team, and really good pieces around him. We played well at their place. They're going to make some adjustments, and we're going to have to do the same. But yeah, they're fighting for seeding, and we know that, and so we're going to have to get better over the next couple of days as we prepare for a hungry Tulane team.
And we talk about this a lot, but you got to have the groundswell, which is there, to put butts in seats and make this a very difficult place to play Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowd last game against Memphis here was phenomenal. We need to amp that up even more. These young men deserve it. It's a great college basketball atmosphere. We've got a great facility here in the Yuengling Center. Come on out Sunday at noon and cheer these guys on. You won't regret it.
It's going to be a ton of fun, Coach. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that's Bryan Hodgson. We will continue on with Adriel Nora, the true freshman from Canada, next on the Bryan Hodgson Radio Show. Welcome back. Adriel Nora is our guest here on the Bryan Hodgson Radio Show. We bring in the true freshman on this day, make him get up early. We had a late night coming in from Houston. I really appreciate you doing this today. Tell me, first of all, what time did you get up today? Because we rolled in on Wednesday/Thursday morning around 3 o'clock.
I had an early morning today. I woke up at like 8:50 because I had a boost meeting this morning, so I had to make sure I got there, and then we had a little yoga after to get the body right. So it was an early morning for me today.
And what's normal for you? What time are you rolling out of bed if you don't have something going on? 10, noon, 1? What is it?
Nah, it's like 10 because usually we have yoga on our off days.
Okay.
So like around 10, I'm out the bed.
Yeah. Everybody sleeps on the plane or tends to. What about you? Are you not sleeping?
I'm knocked out. I go like the last flight I wasn't, but like usually I am. Usually I am. I had to watch my show. There's a new show that came out on Netflix. I had to watch it.
What is it?
The Night Agent.
Okay, all right. I've seen it advertised before. It's good though, right?
Yeah, it's bangers for sure.
How many episodes? Because that's
Nah, it's 10.
Okay,
yeah,
that's not bad.
It's the third season, so
okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping they keep the show rolling. But
all right, well, the season's coming to an end, so these plane rides, which can knock out some episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Listen, again, thanks for doing this. Certainly appreciate it. True freshman out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. By the way, today was 24 degrees in Ottawa, low of 0.
Yeah.
Can you honestly tell me that you missed that weather? Because it was beautiful 72 here in Tampa today.
I mean, the cold weather in Canada is I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Okay.
It depends on the day. When it gets really cold, I'm having a hard time. 'Cause I used to take the bus to go to school.
Okay.
So, and it took me like 2 hours. So it was a long ride, and I hated it back then. But this weather down here in Tampa, can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Once you get your toes in the sand, it's kind of hard to leave, right?
Exactly.
So when Bryan Hodgson is recruiting you, did he bring up the fact that it's not going to be 0 degrees here?
That was one of the first things he told me.
And it sold you?
For sure, definitely. I love the warmth. I'm a summer guy, so yeah.
You've represented Canada in your career, played for Team Canada at various different levels. Is there any greater honor than to do that?
I mean, it was truly a blessing to be able to play for that team. I had a chance to play for it the year before, but sadly I was hurt. So this year I had a chance to go back, and I'm really thankful that I did. And yeah, it was a great experience. We got to go to Switzerland. We didn't like how it ended, but it was truly a grateful experience, and I'm blessed to be a part of that team for sure.
So what we're talking about is the FIBA Under-19 World Cup.
Yeah.
There was kind of a collision course between Canada and the United States. Everybody was looking toward that matchup. You had your best game against the United States, maybe against some of the best players in the world, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah.
You like rising to the occasion like that? You want to face the best competition?
For sure. I feel like when I'm under the spotlight, that's when I perform the best. But, yeah, when we played them, I just saw the rim get really wide. Obviously, me and my teammates were hitting shots, but sadly we lost that game. But yeah, it just felt good going to that game. That's why I had a all right game.
I know a lot of Bulls fans were watching that game very closely because knew that you guys were coming here to South Florida, and everybody was like, wow, we're going to be in good hands because they played the U.S. so tough. I know the result wasn't exactly what you wanted. Your senior year in high school, you went to Winston-Salem Christian. How on earth did you go from Ottawa to Winston-Salem?
Coach Lowe, that's my head coach over there. He hit me up on Twitter in the summer, and he was in need of a point guard, and I looked at the resume, I looked at the program, and I fell in love with it. Since I'm a Christian, the school also kind of fit like where I wanted to go. So I went over there, had a pretty good year, and yeah.
So you get the attention of Bryan Hodgson at Arkansas State. You're committed to Arkansas State. Then he takes the job in Tampa at the University of South Florida. Obviously, talk about that process of coming here and what went through your mind. Did you want to go to Jonesboro, Arkansas? Did you want to come with Coach Hodgson?
Obviously, I wanted to go to Jonesboro. That's where I wanted to go at first. But then once he decided he wanted to come here, he hit me up. He was like, "Yeah, I want you to come with me," and I was really, really grateful for that. And I really thank him for being able to let me come here. And yeah, for sure.
So he has said that when kids commit, like for instance to Arkansas State, and then they come with him here, that he's like, most times those kids are committing to play for me and my staff, and so that's why they follow me. Was some of that going on?
For sure.
What about his style of play? Was that a big factor?
Definitely.
Yeah.
As for the staff, Coach T. Butters was the one that was mainly recruiting me. I built a relationship with him during the recruitment process, so that led to a big point why I came also. And then for play style, as you know, we play that fast pace, up and down, shooting threes, getting to the rim top. That's basically my game. So like, I really liked the way he was playing, and that ultimately led me to the decision to come here.
Nobody wants to play games in the 50s anymore, right? I mean, you want to be in the 80s and 90s.
Exactly.
Get up and down the floor. You guys scored 100 points so many times this year. You're one of 4 true freshmen on the roster. You got Onyx and Tristan and you all from Canada, and then so that's your own little Canadian freshman fraternity, and then you got Gavin, who's there from LA.
Yeah. As for the Canadians, I met Tristan a little while ago. I played against him in a AU tournament in Canada, and in Onyx I met him at the Team Canada. But when we first got here, it was kind of just us three. We used to stay at Holly, so that was our little dorm area. We just stay all together. But obviously I've grown to like everybody on the team for sure. But yeah, those are my guys.
Joshua Majafo's Canadian as well. Did you know him before?
Actually, I didn't hear about him until because he used to play for RMU. I didn't hear about him until they made that run and were able to go to the NCAA tournament. That's when I saw the Canadian Josh. Okay. But yeah, he's pro.
He had a good career there, Robert Morris. I mean, sure. He really flipped him around. He's had a great career. Here's the one thing about, it seems like people talk about small world, AAU, you face guys. It's kind of amazing that he comes out of Canada. I know he's a few years older than you, but you really didn't know him.
Yeah, not even. He did play in a I forgot the prep team that he played for, but it was a known prep team that he played for in Canada. Then he played in the States, and then just rose up the ranks, D2 and all that. Yeah.
He's had a nice career. Hopefully you can follow that. At the start of the season, your words, not mine, you said, I was a mess.
Yep.
You were a freshman. Has it gotten easier? And was it a mess because you were a freshman and you're learning school, you're learning Tampa, you're learning Bryan Hodgson, you're learning this brand of basketball? What was it?
To be honest, it was rough. It was a lot of ups and downs. The summer practices were hard on me because I wasn't used to that type of practice. Mm-hmm. Coach Bryan, he's a very, very tough coach. So, he literally gets into you, and I wasn't used to that. So, it was tough at first, but then I started getting more comfortable. And as I got more comfortable, that's when, my work started to show in practice and in the games and stuff like that. So, yeah, I feel like once you put the work in and stay the course, then the results going to show. So, yeah.
Take me back to the battle for Atlantis. You really hadn't seen a whole lot of time. First, I don't know what that's like for you to not be on the floor, having played a lot of competitive basketball. Again, true freshman, hadn't gotten many minutes yet. Then you get your opportunity in the Bahamas, and you explode on the scene with a couple of awesome games. Coach Hodgson said he had seen some things in practice out of you, told you that your time was coming. Did you think that was coach speak, or did you really feel like it was coming?
I mean, in practice, I was really doing my thing, and he told me that he always told me stay the course, so I knew my time was coming at some point. So I was just always prepared, and when I got in, I just did what I did.
There were guys on the roster that I was watching because we were across from the bench broadcasting that particular game. I could see some wide eyes, like he's going on the floor and he's not scared. You were seizing the moment. Was that new to them, or was that something you thought that those guys had seen in practice before and they shouldn't be that surprised?
Nah, they shouldn't be that surprised. They definitely seen that before. I've taken over a couple of practices. Okay. If I'm being honest.
Well, we just want honesty here. That's all.
I mean, I've had bad ones. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had bad ones, but I've also had good ones.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so fast forward out of the Bahamas a couple months later, at home against FAU, you get in the game early, you're behind 7-2. All of a sudden, you give them 3 quick buckets, and now this whole team is rolling. Talk about the difference between the Adriel back in the Bahamas and then the Adriel against FAU. Because you're seeing significant minutes at this point now.
Yeah. That game, when I came on, I just told myself, because we were down, and I had noticed that people weren't playing the same way that they usually do. So I just tried to go in there and give them that spark that they needed for them to see that it's really not that tough to really get past these guys and score and stuff like that. So I just told myself, attack the rim, put pressure in the paint, and if you can score. If you can pass. So that's just my mindset for real.
I think people forget, without that pump from you in the first 5-10 minutes of the game, you guys don't win that game. It was awesome to see. All right, I can't let you go without asking you some Canadian-themed questions. I'm not going to ask you for capitals and providences or anything like that. I will ask you this. When people ask you your height, do you give it in height, in feet and inches, or do you give it in centimeters?
Nah, feet and feet and inches.
It's all metric up there,
nah,
right?
I mean, the French, they do it in centimeters.
Okay.
I speak French, so I understand why you would ask that, but like I give it in feet and inches.
Okay. What about when you want to know the temperature outside? Do you have to know it in Celsius, or do you ask in Fahrenheit?
I don't understand Fahrenheit. I'm not gonna lie.
So there's the demarcation point right there.
So like my phone is still set to Celsius.
Is it?
Yeah. And when people ask me, I tell them in Celsius, and they be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But yeah.
So today in Tampa, Celsius is what, 28, 30?
Let me go look, actually.
I mean, ballpark. You should know ballpark, right?
24.
All right.
24 degrees Celsius
Okay.
right now.
Well, it's 24 in Ontario. I mean, a little different. But,
Yeah.
all right, last question. I'll let you go. How much ice skating did you do?
Okay.
None? Have you been
Okay,
on
no,
skate?
I
Have
won't
you
lie.
been on
Yeah,
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
In elementary school, they had us skating. I used to play ice hockey.
Okay.
And my dad, during winter break, he bought us some skates because we didn't have, the elementary school would give us skates to skate in, but I didn't have any for my own, so my dad bought me some when I was younger, and that's when I really started to skate for real. But as of recently, I haven't skated in a while, if I'm being honest. The last time I probably skated was like grade 7, grade 8, back in middle school.
So were you thinking hockey at some point?
No.
Never.
That's not for me. It's not for me.
Where are those skates right now?
In the garbage.
Okay. Perfect answer to wrap things up. Adriel, always a pleasure. Good luck as the season wears on. You guys are in first place. I know it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right,
it's been fun.
That's Adriel Nyorha. We will continue with Cody Dukewitz, the strength and conditioning coach on the Bryan Hodgson Radio Show. Welcome back to the Bryan Hodgson Radio Show. Jim Lighthall, along with the guts of the men's basketball program, strength and conditioning coach Cody Dukewitz. Coach, good to see you again. Feels like we were just on a bus and an airplane, coming back from Houston, but I appreciate you taking some time out for us. You don't have a lot of free time during the course of a week, and I know these minutes are kind of limited for you, so we appreciate it.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
So we get back from Texas Wednesday night / Thursday morning. Second time this season that we've gone to Texas. You're from Texas. An opportunity to see family. How often does that happen?
In this industry, not very often, so it's always good to get back to the home state. It's kind of like Superman getting close to the sun. You just feel stronger whenever you get back home, so it's always good.
And 2 trips to Texas so far this season. We were in Denton earlier this year. Family that time as well, or no? I know where you're from, and we'll talk about it.
Yep.
It's all the way down at the very bottom of the state of Texas, and both those trips are a long way, but that's as close as we get.
Yeah, so Denton's a little far. Like from where I am, it's probably about 7.5 to 8 hours. So yeah, not there, but in Houston, yep, that was good to see my in-laws actually. So
okay, we'll talk about your family and being from Texas and everything that comes with that in just a little bit. But a very quick turnaround into this Thursday as we tape this. First of all, any lifting for anybody today because everybody got home late.
Right. Yeah. So I really love the way we structure things here because we do it. If it's a down day, it's a down day, right? So we don't want to overly tax the guys. That's why we do things like post-game lifts and structuring throughout the week, and things like that because it's just hard. If we want to recover, we're not going to try and get guys in and kind of just take away from an empty cup and just kind of pour back in, really.
What kind of fine line are you walking during the season with lifting? Because rest and recovery is so important during this season, but yet you still got to get stronger, right?
Right. So I think it's more so about the duration of the lifts right now. I'm not one to say, we're going to maintain during the season. Like, we should be our strongest going into March. And so that's always my goal, is to constantly push our strength, our power, all that good stuff, right? But just kind of, hey, we're going to keep it to 2 to 3 movements and just kind of pour all of our energy and effort into those movements.
You're in your 3rd season here at USF, and it seems like you've really found a home here in a profession that doesn't usually stay in one place for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never been the type to want to just go spot to spot. And I think the older you get or the more you get into this profession, you value opportunity more than just chasing a quote-unquote logo. Because I think this place is, it's Power 4 without the label of Power 4. And that's the beautiful thing about South Florida. And so I think once you find a place like that, you don't want to just leave. And I've been very blessed and fortunate to continue to be a part of this program.
With a family and all that goes with that, how important is it living in Tampa and how nice the city is. You're not in Des Moines, Iowa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so before I got here, we lived in Nacogdoches, Texas. That's where Stephen F. Austin is. And I always joke, I said, well, our source of entertainment there, I would take Bear to Walmart and we would play the claw machine. That was our
Claw
source
machine's
of
underrated,
entertainment.
by the way.
It was great. So here, obviously, much more to do for my family. They love it. They love the beach. They love all that good stuff. So it's really good for them.
You bring a very unique approach to this job. I don't know if you did it at your previous stops, which we'll talk about in a moment, but the Friday road trips, the Navy SEALs, being on the beach, being at the top of the parking garages, kind of thinking outside of the box a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I learned the road game concept from my mentor, Darby Rich, who's at Texas A&M. And the originator was Daniel Roos, who's at VCU. He was with Shaka Smart back in the day through VCU there in Texas. And so the concept is, right, it's really hard to win on the road. It's one of the hardest things to do in college basketball. So we're going to take the guys and put them in an environment that is physically challenging, yes, but more so it's mentally challenging to get them outside of themselves to the point where they think, there's no way I'm going to make it through this without getting outside of myself and depending on my brother next to me, right? And getting to that point where they're just so uncomfortable that they have to trust each other and lean on each other to get through whatever it is that we're doing for the day. So it's more so just to kind of create that connection, create that bond, right, early in the summer.
So you pick up, well, not you, but this team picked up their 8th road win just the other night on the road against Rice. That has to validate all that you just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the stats, I guess you could say, that I'm really happy about is, I mean, I love road games. I love road wins probably more so than home because there's no better feeling than just going back into somebody else's locker room and like after you just won, and like it's just a great feeling.
When you're looking for different workouts, are you trying to make it harder? Are you trying to make the workouts more productive? Are you trying to build that team bonding like we were just talking about? What is the ultimate goal for this team other than wins and losses?
Right. Yeah, I think there's one thing. You can always make something harder. I think the more physically challenging you put somebody in, but even just making them comfortable. Like if we go to the sand, diving for a loose ball in the sand, like that's uncomfortable in itself, right? That's hard.
Yeah.
They're covered in sand, they're sweating, right? So it's just things like that where you just kind of embrace the environment that you're in. And so probably in a past life, I could probably have been a CIA interrogator just with my my creativity and pain and not doing not fun things. But thankfully, I chose this profession instead. So, yeah, I think that's main goal with everything.
So I'm doing some digging and some research for this. High school basketball in the Texas Rio Grande Valley area at McAllen. In 2008, the McAllen Bulldogs, I believe, 2008. I also know that McAllen's supposed to be a global destination for bird watching. Have you heard this? Is this news to you?
I've heard that, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So McAllen, Texas is all the way down on the southern border. You could practically throw a rock into Mexico down there. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's about probably 10 minutes from the border.
Okay. So high school basketball, you were playing. Where did this spark for strength and conditioning happen? Because you were like 185, 175, around that 190 in high school. You're not 190 now.
No. Probably because I wasn't a very good basketball player, to be honest with you. And so, I mean, I was a 6'2", 5-man, 6'3", 5-man.
Okay.
And so not a lot of market for those types of guys.
Good point, yeah.
You know, I was the guy on the scouting report. They said hustle guy, glue guy,
yeah.
You know, all that good stuff. So I always loved the weight room when I was really first introduced to it. It just seemed like something that was just, I don't know, the energy about it, the way you can push yourself, build yourself up, right? And so I love that aspect of it. And then I miss the team portion of like basketball, right? I never played football. It was always basketball because I just loved the small size of the team, right? You get to really know and be involved in the lives of 14, 13, whatever, how many guys. And so for me, that was always the draw, was that locker room, that team aspect of it. And so when I went to A&M, that's when I really first got back into the sport and within strength and conditioning. And when I went to A&M, that was really when I knew, okay, this is what I want to do, right, with strength and conditioning. I was very fortunate to be with Coach Rich there and be a part of a really successful program at the time. And so I'm just grateful for that because that's where it just kind of took off from there.
You got your degree from TCU, then you get your master's from Texas A&M. When you look at this profession, things I've always heard in this profession, strength and conditioning, is that you hear all the secrets. You know where the bodies are buried and everything because the players will talk to you. The players will tell you, oh, man, the coach is all over me. Those are the things that when you're breaking them down, again, this is what I've heard, when you're breaking them down, the truth starts to come out of them. Is that usually the way it is?
I mean, for whatever reason, I think guys just, I don't know if it's they feel more comfortable or there's just, and so that's kind of, when you hear things like that, you're kind of the bridge in a sense to the culture that you're trying to build. Mm-hmm. So you can't ever co-sign what they're saying or validate what they're saying. It's always like, hey man, like, no, he's right. You got to get out of your feelings most of the times, right? Because, we all have a propensity to feel sorry for ourselves and times where it's really hard or you're down on yourself or whatever. And that's why I think basketball is such a great vehicle for teaching life lessons because it's like life is not easy. And so there's going to be a lot of days and a lot of times where you're going to have to figure it out. And if you feel sorry for yourself and you have that victim mentality, then you're in for a rough life ahead of you, right? I always say life's hard when you're soft. So I think like that is being that bridge and being able to get guys back onto the page that we're all trying to go because at the end of the day, nothing is more important than the team. The team is the most important, right? And nobody can be a distraction to that. Nobody can be take away from that, regardless of how they feel.
You were very close to Amir.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that relationship, how that started.
Yep. So I knew Amir at Texas A&M when I was an intern, right? We developed a relationship there, and we always had a handshake agreement, that whenever he was in a position to hire a strength coach, he was gonna call me, and I was gonna go, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. And so when he got the job here, this was the first time he was at Kennesaw for 4 years. This was the first time he was in that position to be able to hire a strength coach. And I remember vividly, I was sitting in church. It was on a Sunday, and my phone's ringing, and I look down, it's him. So I showed my wife. I walk out, I answer the phone. He was like, "Hey, are you coming with me?" And I was, and this is the relationship that we had. My wife knew immediately. She was like, "Yeah, we're moving to Tampa."
She knew.
And so I didn't even go back in and ask her like, "Hey," I was like, "Yeah, we're coming." And so I walked back in. I was like, "Hey, we're going to South Florida." And she was like, "All right." And so that was, I waited 10 years, to work for him or work with him. I got a year, and you can't help but feeling, cheated on that regard because, I don't say this lightly, but he was a big brother to me. I'm the oldest in my family. He was a big brother to me, my best friend. And so that was, it was professionally the greatest year, right? Because I just being able to be around him, and you're at a point where you're like, wow, everything I've worked for is kind of coming true right now, and then, everything happens that happened.
So you're a man of great faith. I do know that for sure. And then something like that happens, Amir passes.
Yep.
Was that tested?
So there's a quote by C.S. Lewis that it's in a book called A Grief Observed, and he talks about it's about when his wife passed, and so he talks about in that book, faith is like a rope, right? You can trust that rope if you need to hang a box or whatever, like that's fine, but until it's put on life and death situation under great strain, like if you're hanging from that rope off a cliff, that's different. That's a different type of faith. Is that going to sustain you compared to, I'm just going to hang this box from that rope, right? And so when something like that happens, you either knew it was real or it wasn't, and it's the only thing that's going to sustain you throughout it, right? Like I'm also reminded, like in the book of Daniel, he's asked to kneel before this statue and he refuses, and the king is going to throw him into a furnace, and he says, "That's fine, you can throw us in the furnace. We're not going to kneel before this statue. I know our God's going to save us, and even if he doesn't, we're only going to praise him," right? And I think that's the part that people leave out, is that even if he doesn't, because we have no idea of knowing what can happen. I had no idea, coming into this year, what could happen at the end of last year, what could happen, right? And so it's that even if he doesn't type of faith that you really develop. And so that's why when I talk to people or I, try to advice from different people, I don't listen to people or I don't get advice from people who I know haven't gone through really hard and challenging things where their faith hasn't been tested and strained to the point where it's life and death and they're depending on it as if they're hanging from a cliff.
Yeah, well, faith was tested for sure. There's no doubt about that. Running out of time, I want to ask you real quick about your wife, Melissa. I saw how you two met. You were in college. She had to take your blood pressure, and she volunteered to take your blood pressure.
I don't know how that story got out.
And then you guys were together ever since then. You have a son, Barrett, by the way. She is a registered and licensed dietitian and nutrition coach. You're a strength and conditioning coach. Is McDonald's like off limits at your house? Like no McDonald's?
When she's in the truck, it is. That's when I tell Bear, I said, hey, we're going to go run an errand. And then we usually go,
and
the double quarter, the double quarter pounder, all that, yeah.
Cody, appreciate you giving us a few minutes. I know how much you work with this program, and it's been awesome having you around for now the third season here at South Florida. Hope it's many, many years to come, and the family gets to keep their toes in the sand for a long time as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, Cody Dukewitz is our guest, and that will do it for this edition of the Bryan Hodgson Radio Show. Thanks for joining us.